Arc Raiders is an upcoming extraction shooter that will be launching sometime in 2025 to PC and on consoles. And as someone who has been addicted to the extraction shooter genre for the past few years, I have been really excited to peek behind the curtain of this game. So when Embark Studios, the company behind Arc Raiders, reached out about doing a sponsored video, I was very excited to hop in and see what this game was all about. So thank you so much to Embark and Arc Raiders for sponsoring this video. They are showcasing the game in what they are calling their Tech Test 2 from April 30th to May 4th. If you are seeing this video before that time ends, you can click the link in the description to sign up and try to get access. Hopefully we'll know more about when this game is officially releasing soon, but so far I have about 15 hours in the game and I have really been loving it. It's funny, from a high level view, a lot of the extraction shooters that have come out over the past few years, a lot of the newer ones, one of the most common criticisms is they don't feel like they have a soul. They don't feel like they have like a purpose. But after playing the game, I feel like it has that thing, that X factor, that unexplainable thing. It's got that soul. It feels like it wasn't arbitrarily decided to be an extraction shooter. It almost feels like this universe was meant to be an extraction shooter. You know, the lore of the game is humanity driven underground with these huge machines kind of reign supreme up top. Resources are scarce, so you have to go up, fight for what you need, and then bring it back down. The AI in the game, instead of being just some random faction of other humans you have to fight, they are these robots that are somewhat tiny and small and easy to kill, up to these behemoth, almost like Elden Ring style boss fights right in the middle of your extraction shooter raid. The whole vibe and aesthetic of the game feels new but familiar. I've heard it described as like NASA punk. It all just feels very intentional. And the world that this exists in is absolutely insane. This game looks amazing. This is truly an Unreal Engine 5 game. I'm no game dev, but this game, as soon as I walked outside of my first raid, it feels like a huge step forward. The lighting, the shadows, the textures, the environment, the world, it's gorgeous. The sound design in this game is absolutely insane. From robots beeping in the distance, gunshots firing off, giant mechanized robots storming at you, alarmed at your presence and trying to hunt you down. It all sounds really, really cool and really heavy and really impactful. The game, at least for me, performs really, really well. The maps actually feel pretty huge as well. As soon as you open up the map for the first time, I feel like it doesn't do it justice. I almost felt, oh, this map seems really small. But then you turn the corner and you see this huge dam with a tower that's 30 stories tall and the kind of chasm between you and the other side of the dam and all the buildings and zones in one map. It actually feels way bigger than it looks initially. And there are all sorts of weather effects that can happen. I've hopped into a map and had like huge dust storms or had rain. Visibility was really good. Visibility was really low. There's all sorts of dynamic events that can happen. Night raids unlocked at one point that I got to play where the loot was super buffed, but there were extra AI, extra robots roaming around up top. One of the coolest things I like about the AI and the Arc, the robots in this game, is your impact on them. Shooting off one of its legs will dramatically shift its center of mass and it'll kind of wobble around. Some of the drones that fly around, if you shoot off one of their propellers, it will actually react to that. It will feel the weight of your shot and its flight path will kind of go all over the place. Shooting another one might cause it to crash. If it crashes to the ground and doesn't die, it will still try to finagle a way to get an angle on you and shoot you. It really feels like you're interacting with the world. It feels like you're in a place you're not supposed to be. The attention to detail just feels really cool. As far as the mechanics of the game, however, it's a very normal extraction shooter in that your goal is to go into these kind of session or instance-based maps, try to loot, PvP, complete quests, gather materials, get riches and extract and get them out. There are a lot of mechanics in the game and it's almost overwhelming, but in the best possible way. When I play an extraction shooter, I like that feeling of there's almost like too many things to do. I'm going to go in and I'm not going to be able to get everything I need out. It makes me want to just run more. The first day I played this game, I almost blacked out. I looked at the clock and like 4 hours had passed. It just has that good, almost like old school gamer feeling. At least it did for me. The loot in the game feels really good. There's loot everywhere. There's lots of different types of loot, and that feels good. You can find things that are just like worth a ton of money if you're running low on bankroll. You can find really rare materials. Those rare materials can be saved and either be used as upgrade materials back at your base, or can then be broken down into less rare materials, which I like this whole system of you can constantly be recycling high value stuff that you don't need into lower value stuff that you need for crafting, and eventually even doing the opposite, upcycling some of the low value stuff into high value stuff. It just feels like everything has purpose, everything has meaning, and you're not going to just need this one piece of loot for like one upgrade and then never need it again. Like I said, you do have a base that you return to in between raids. This is where you can interact with the traders that sell things to you and also give you quests. And then you also have your own little home base that you can upgrade with a bunch of different modules that do a bunch of different things, which allows you to craft pretty much anything. This game has a very heavy emphasis on crafting, which does kind of make sense in the lore. The traders that are down there would sell you stuff, but probably at a premium. But if you went and found things topside and then crafted them yourself, it would cost much less. So in general, crafting costs much less than buying things, but that means you're constantly churning through materials, everything from your shield charges to your weapons to your ammo to your meds. All of it is craftable. You can purchase it, but you are going to be crafting a lot of things. And that just means that all the materials in the game really do matter, even as you level up. The game can be played in squads of up to 3 people, and there is a squad fill mechanic where you can have it queue you with random people if you want, but squad fill is off by default, which I think is very good because it doesn't force people into that playstyle, but it's there if you want it. And it's also pretty solo friendly. As far as I understand it, the way the matchmaker works is that if you queue in solo, it's going to try to queue you with as many solos as you can. So it's not a full solo mode. It's not a guarantee that you're always going to run into solos, but it takes it from the pool of people that are queuing solo and tries to kind of fill it out, which I think is very helpful for making this game solo viable if you're running some money runs before your friends hop on, or if you just don't feel like playing with anybody that day. Your raids are going to be kind of tuned in that direction. You might run into a duo, you might run into a squad and maybe try to avoid them because taking the 1v3 is hard, but you're also going to be running into a lot of solos and getting a fair fight there. So I really liked to see that. This game also has proximity chat, which even in just the first 2 days of me playing this game, I've already run into some really funny encounters with proximity chat. So I'm really glad that they're embracing that. And another really cool mechanic is the free loadout. So instead of like a scav run from Escape from Tarkov, you can get a full free kit top to bottom anytime you want, but it's not going to have a lot of ammo. It's not going to have a lot of shields, and you're not going to have the safety net of kind of like the secure squares where you can die with things in them and then you get to keep them anyway. But it's a free kit, so if you're really down on your luck and you're trying to snowball, it's nice to have that option there as well. Arc Raiders is obviously a game from the third-person perspective, and this has been, kind of all over the place, a little divisive. I personally do not like that about this game. I would really love to see this game be first person. However, I totally understand that there is an audience out there that love and grew up on third-person games. I know people really enjoyed games like SOCOM or Gears of War back in the day, or The Division and the Dark Zone and the PvP that came from that. It's not really for me. I don't really like the kind of like stand up against the doorway and third person peek around the corner. I'm not going to say it's unfair because I can do those exact same things. It's kind of a part of PvP games in third person. For me personally, it's a con. This isn't an objective thing, right? This is my subjective take. If you really like third person shooters, I think you are going to absolutely love this game. For me, I'm hoping that maybe down the line, if the game has a big enough audience, that they, maybe add a first-person queue and kind of split it. I think that would be really cool. But even as somebody that doesn't like third-person games, I have really been enjoying myself. Once again, it's not something that you can't overcome. It's not like unfair or anything. It's just a personal preference for me. Now, I've really enjoyed the game, but that doesn't mean it is perfect. Obviously, this is a tech test, and they've still got a ways to go before launch, and some of the things do feel a little weird. The heals and getting heals can get a little tedious. I feel like I am constantly running out of the materials I need to craft heals, and buying heals is really expensive, that you're kind of in this weird loop where you're going into the raid with very few heals. One PvP fight can make you use a ton of heals, and then you either die to the AI or to other players because you can't heal anymore, or you then immediately want to get out of the raid because you don't have any more heals. And then that cycle just continues because you didn't really get more materials to craft more heals out of that raid, and it just gets weird. So maybe some balancing can be done there. Personally, I think the footstep audio needs to be adjusted. Once again, the sound design in this game is incredible, but I felt like quite a few times I got snuck up on by a squad and I didn't hear their footsteps. It feels like if you're sitting still in a quiet environment, you can hear another player's footsteps, and the spatial and positional accuracy is actually really, really good. I just think because there are so many sound effects going on in the game with the AI moving around and the events happening and the weather effects, I think the footsteps can just maybe be tuned up a little bit to make sure they kind of punch through and you can hear them. Combat, especially PvP combat in this game, can get a little weird, where a lot of the guns can have really small magazines. So it's not necessarily that the time to kill is super long, but you can't do it in one mag because you only have 10 bullets. So you're kind of just in like a reload spam, you know, engage, disengage before you can get a kill, or you're trading off with your teammates. Now, this definitely could be something where as you level up to like the mid or end game, you're getting guns with higher capacity mags, and that's all mute. But in my limited time, I just found the flow of combat to be a little weird sometimes. On certain maps, it can also feel like there are a lot of players and they're all very close. And as soon as one person gets in a PvP fight, it's just kind of like third party, fourth party, fifth party. I think a lot of extraction shooters, especially when they're in alphas or betas, get like this because a lot of people are maybe more focused on PvP than in, you know, progressing. But we have had some matches where it just kind of felt like a nonstop PvP sandwich the entire time. And then I definitely am interested in what they're going to do about like an end game for this game. Once again, I know we're only a few days in. It's not necessarily something to be worried about, but I am wondering, you know, once I unlock everything in my hideout, once I have a stash full of good gear, what is going to keep me coming back to play Arc Raiders? Is the game going to have wipes? Is it going to have seasons with seasonal content? Are they going to rotate in new map, or maybe do new stuff with the AI and new types of loot? I'm sure that they are asking these questions as well, but playing the game right now, it does have me wondering, you know, what's going to keep me coming back long term. But ultimately, I have really been enjoying my time in Arc Raiders so far, and it seems to be a sentiment shared across the internet over these past few days as the playtest has been live. They really seem like they've got something special here, and they've got some time to iron out the last few kinks, and I'm really excited to see how this game develops and what the community thinks about the game. And that being said, I want to know what you think about the game. What do you think about the footage that you've seen? Have you been able to play it? Are you excited for another extraction shooter? Lay all the thoughts down in the comment below. I'm excited to read them. Thank you so much for taking the time to check out this video. I'll be streaming Arc Raiders probably a lot over the next few days on Twitch and here on YouTube. All those links will be down below. Thank you so much for stopping by, and I will definitely see y'all on the next one.